Go ahead and call to order this meeting of the City Council Employee Benefit Trust. July 22nd, 2025 at 4 p.m. To the few members of the audience, I don't know why y'all come, we're so boring. We're dressed a little bit more casual today in honor of our Jeff Harris's birthday this week.
Thank you.
We may sing later, I don't know. We'll see. Let's go ahead. Do we have any public comments?
No, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Meismer, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go ahead, please.
All right. We're going to talk about the fiscal year 2026 employee benefits. I'd like to introduce or remind y'all that Natalie Haskett with Gallagher is here. She's our consultant. And then Maya Johnson is also here, HR manager for the city. And she's going to be doing this next year. I promise. Okay, so the Employee Benefit Trust. Y'all are the trustees of the Employee Benefit Trust, and the Texas Insurance Code requires insurance companies to collect and pay a 1.75% tax on premiums collected. Chapter 222.02 states that if a municipality sets up a single entity benefit trust, they're exempt from that tax. And in July of 2008, the City Council approved a resolution to create the single entity benefit trust, and then of course y'all serve as the trustees. To date, this shows our savings to date by having the Employee Benefit Trust, and that is $860,177. So well worth having the Employee Benefit Trust. Okay, we'll get into the benefits. We did a request.
I will turn it over to Mr. Bowe.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, City staff. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Tony Battle. I'm the president of Byrne Construction. I'm going to give you an update on the public safety facility. Before I do that, I do want to share my condolences with the city of Kerrville and surrounding area. I know what you've been through over the last 3 weeks. I do want to say, as a city council member from a neighboring city, I'm proud of the way you handled this situation. I think you handled it with grace, dignity, and a high level of competence. And so I'm proud of that, and thank you for your service to our community. I'd also like to say that we as a company are proud to be working with the city of Kerrville, and our folks are proud to be building a facility that hopefully in the future will be able to aid you when times like this come upon us. And so like I said, we're just proud of the way you handled the situation, so thank you. We're helping where we can, of course. We fed your first responders a couple of times, and so we will continue to do that. If you need anything from us as a company, if you need anything from us as a supporting city close by with the city of Bandera, we're happy to help, and so please don't hesitate to reach out if you need us for anything. Let's move on to talking to you about your beautiful new building. So here are a few shots of where we currently are in construction. This drone picture was taken yesterday. So you can see that that aerial right there, all of your asphalt is complete. The facility is really coming together. Your landscape has started. There's a few interior shots there, one of your dispatch, your EOC, and then your courtroom. So we're pretty proud of the facility. I know y'all have been extremely busy, but when you get a chance, come by, take a look. It's going to be an unbelievable asset for the city. So to speak about dollars, we always want to talk about dollars, make sure we're on budget. There are no pending changes currently, and we are sitting at our target budget for construction. So we will complete on budget. I'm happy to announce that. I think it's always good to go back and kind of look at what the bond requirements were. So your community, I know you had a lot of meetings with your community to determine what it was that they wanted as part of your 2022 bond, and here are those items. And so I know I did this last time, but I think it's always good to go back and just make sure we're checking all the boxes. What did your community want, and did we provide those items? And I'm happy to share that we did with this building. Last time we were here, we talked about cost value options and some alternates that we wanted to add into the project if we had the funding to do so. I'm happy to say that we were able to get 4 of the 6 added to the project. And so your auxiliary storage building, that pre-engineered middle building is under construction. The exterior is all complete. We're working on the interior. Your covered parking, if you go by there right now, you'll see that that's under construction. We were able to pull in the full landscape package and your bioretention. So those are some extra items that we were able to pull into the project by just ultimately all of us as a team being good stewards of your dollars as we work through the job. Uh-oh, I'm froze up here. Oh, that's going to jump ahead. There you go. Okay, so punch list update. We've been working diligently to go through the building and get different items punched. I know this is hard to see. You really don't need to be able to read any of this. Just to let you know, the light blue area there has been punched, and those punch list items are complete, and so that area is practically finished. The yellow areas we fell back and punched today, and that punch list is underway. Green areas are being punched this week, and then the darker blue or purple, however you see it, will be punched early next week. So the good news there is the entire building by mid next week will be punched. We've created those punch list items. We're averaging about 20 items on a punch list, which I'm really proud of. In the construction world, that's pretty doggone good. Mm-hmm. And we're getting them complete within 2 days of the punches being created on average. And so there's obviously items that'll linger for procurement, different things. But the team out there is doing an exceptional job of pushing us through to the finish line here. So schedule, here's kind of an overview of where we've been and where we are today. So we are, in just beginning Q3 of 25, and so we're getting very close to substantial completion. The commissioning of the building will start within the next few weeks. That's going through commissioning all the different systems and getting all of your final completion documents put together. Mid next month, we'll start with your owner FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment. We'll start to build out your data center. The city, that's something that Charlie will be doing to come in and start building out that data center so we can start to occupy the building for its intended use. So we plan on having a certificate of occupancy mid part of this quarter. And then, of course, early fourth quarter, you should be able to move in and take occupancy of that building and get it moving forward for its intended purpose. And so you can kind of see some snapshots along the bottom there. I thought it was interesting to include those aerial pictures. We've come a long way in a short amount of time, and it's really starting to come together. I say this every time. I'm going to continue to say it every time. It takes a team. It really does, and this has been an exceptional team to work with. All of your different departments within the city and all of the consultants that you selected, as well as our design build team, have just worked seamlessly together, and that is unusual for everybody to be able to collaborate as well as we have, and so I'm proud of the way we've been able to pull this thing off, and excited for ultimately a ribbon cutting and to get in there and start using this building. And with that, I will turn it over to you for questions.
You said 5 words all 5 of us love to hear. On time and on budget.
There you go.
I took a tour of the facility several weeks ago. It was amazing. Thank you for the tour. Michael Harness and I got lost several times, but we had a guide that had a map on his phone and could tell us where we were. It's a beautiful building. And not only is it beautiful, I think it's going to be very functional for the people who will work there. Where they work now, you've seen it. This is an upgrade.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
This is an upgrade. Any other comments or questions?
No, I just want to say that having lived here for 34 years, I've been advocating for them to have a purpose-built facility. And for you guys to come in and do the kind of job that you've done is exceptional, and I thank you for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just want to say thank you all. It's amazing how fast it's come up and everything that's happened over there, from groundbreaking on grass and bare dirt to seeing what we are now. So thank you all very much. And, you know, Josh, thank you for being there and, you know, supporting the city in the past and doing so and giving us tours. So thank you.
Much
Yes,
appreciated.
sir. Thank you.
I enjoyed my tour as well. It was amazing. Can't wait to walk through the finished product.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
We'll have to have a map though, so we,
Yes,
Our guide.
yes, sir.
Like,
Believe me, I still get lost, and I'm supposed to know it.
that, it's just, it's gonna be wonderful for our community, and thank you for everybody who's worked on it. Staff, your crew, and you, thank you very much. I don't know that people realize what an asset that will be. Not only will it be a place that is a good place to work, I think it will help with recruitment, retention, and customer service to the citizens of our community. So thank you very, very much. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to item 2B. Mr. Rice is out of town working on city business, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hornes, who has to give the full report.
I will give a full report. I'm also going to ask Julie Behrens from the finance team to help with that. So for mine, I'm just going to talk for a little while. Julie will have a presentation. I did this yesterday, and I'd like to do it again today. Keeping that debris flyer up and out there as much as we can, I think is important. As of today, there are 107 confirmed deaths in Kirk County. Of that, 37 of those are children. The governor's office has a number that's 116. That includes 9 confirmed dead from Kendall County. We still have 3 people missing. Search and rescue continues right now and will continue. There's an informational meeting tonight in Ingram at Tom Moore. That meeting is being recorded. So I don't think we're going to have competing meetings. I think there's just a lot of information to get out, and so as many mediums as we can. The next item on the agenda, Kelly and the folks from TDEM and all the other agencies will talk through a lot of that process. So much information as we can get out as often as we can do it. I still say talking to people face to face is the best way. So we've had a lot of great discussions with people about helping get this message out, and they've been really kind to do so. So you'll hear about Kerr Together, which is kind of the main landing page for a lot of that information. It's a great resource, and staff did a fantastic job along with the state getting that put together. So to my piece, I guess, my portion in this is debris. And so TxDOT and TDEM are both kind of working simultaneously to the debris piece of all this. TxDOT have their contractors working right now, and they are going to be picking up debris along state roads, right? So Highway 39 up in Hunt, 27 down through Ingram, and through our town and beyond. Texas Department of Emergency Management has closed out their solicitation for contractors as of yesterday. I believe they're picking them today. And so the hope is that those folks will be out towards the end of this week. Always reluctant to say what day because you don't know what's going to happen, but it should be starting this week. And that'll be roads that are off system from TxDOT. So you've got county roads, city roads, and those private roads that have kind of easements that are open to emergency personnel to get into. On that flyer, you will see it asks folks to place that debris in the right of way, right? So on a city street, you'll see in that image there's a curb, there's the strip between the sidewalk, placing that debris there, trying to separate that out into several piles. So construction debris, vegetative tree debris, white goods, as they call it. Learn all these new terms and new acronyms. But white goods being refrigerators, ovens, things that would go to a recycling center where they can dispose of it properly. And then you have electronics, hazardous materials. And then lastly, in this, we have items that are registered with the state of Texas. So vehicles, trailers, boats, anything that has a registration and ownership can be tracked. All of these things are going to be going to separate locations. So construction debris will be going to the landfill and transferred down to San Antonio. We're doing everything we can to keep up with that and to ensure that
Excuse me?
their pickups come quickly, and then that stuff gets moved down to San Antonio. We have talked with TCEQ about opening up portions of our landfill should we need to, if debris comes at a pace that they can't keep up with for the transfer. So that's construction debris. The soccer fields at Loop 534, adjacent to the landfill. That is where the vegetative and tree debris is going to go in town. There's also a separate site in Centerpoint. Centerpoint ISD has 30 acres that they've allowed TWMUs as well. And so they're going to place all those trees, all that vegetative debris down there. It's going to sit for 60 days to dry out. And then they're going to use what's called an air curtain incinerator, which is essentially just a firebox. When it fires up, it has a little bit of smoke, but it's kind of a smokeless operation. And so they will start the process of putting that debris in there and disposing of it. And so all in, that's maybe 120 days, something around there, from stuff dropping off, which is happening right now. TxDOT has begun that process, and we have some pretty massive piles out there already. And that'll continue to happen for the next few months. The recycling centers in town, so we have Scrap Solutions and Kerrville Recycling, one in Ingram and one just beyond city limits past the airport. That's where those white goods will go. Either the recyclers themselves will pick up that debris as it's placed in the right-of-way, or folks have already begun kind of taking that stuff out there. If it is left, which what I hear it usually isn't by the time they get around to it, that stuff will be picked up and taken to those centers by the contractors working for the state. Kerrville Recycling has also agreed to kind of house vehicles. And so some of the vehicles have already been hauled off by private landowners, taken by wrecker services. The Sheriff's Department and the Police Department are doing their level best to kind of keep up with all of that information. But as you can imagine, in the first couple of days, some of that stuff might have gone out. So we're doing everything we can to track it. One of the reasons we asked the recyclers to house that is because they wouldn't really incur lot fees as you would at a wrecker yard. And I think a lot of this is going to go unclaimed for a while, and some if ever. And so working through that process, and anyway, that was a kindness that they provided a portion of that, their area, to account for that. Let me move on to kind of our internal damage assessment now. I spoke to some news folks earlier and mentioned it yesterday. This is just a damage assessment from the city of Kerrville's property that we own, our lift stations, park facilities, the water treatment plant, not to include privately held property here in town. So we received estimates from our insurer that had a range from between $3 and $11 million for what we've had them review thus far. So that includes the water treatment plant, all sections of the river trail, park systems along the water that were damaged, KSP, the cabins along KSP, virtually everything at Louise Hayes Park, Guadalupe Park, Lowry Park, and then some lift stations throughout as well. So pretty hefty list. And so again, that's just a range because it's not a full detailed assessment of it. right? We'll have to go, and we have started that process at the water plant now. We have an emergency request repair into TDEM, which they call a star request. And so we're going to have some cranes out there. We're going to have to dredge a portion of the right in front of what is called the raw water intake, where the water comes in from the river, to clear out all that debris and give staff a chance to get in there and clear that out. And so that's in process. As we said before, we have been utilizing well water and can continue to do so. We certainly want to get started on that project, because the sooner, it's going to take a while to work through that. And so Stuart and his team have been diligently working with the folks at the state to help work through that. The river trail itself, we have a bridge that's washed out on 534, right above it. Parks, most affected parks: Lowry Park, Louise Hayes Park, obviously Guadalupe Park, KSP. Lastly, we've started talking recovery with TDEM folks, but we're too early into the process to kind of start really talking about that. So it's all just, we're trying to stay ahead as much as we can. Lots of folks have been great providing resources for us, just to, hey, if you're not thinking about this, you need to start thinking about this. You know, sadly, it's places that have been through these kind of things before. And so we're taking all calls and trying to field as much of this as we can. With that, Mr. Mayor, I can turn it over to Julie, and she can go through her piece, or if you all have questions, we can do that.
I just have one question. Is this flyer available on the city website?
So it's on Kerr Together.
Okay.
We can make it available anywhere and anywhere we need to. I'm plastering this thing up as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is on the
Okay.
website.
Thank you, Stuart.
There we go.
Okay.
Ms. Egerman?
Okay, I'm going to ask this question because I've been asked this question a lot. The three missing, that seems to be a question I get from many folks. Who would be able to answer that question as to the accuracy of that number and how they arrived at that number? Is that, it's not us, but
No, it is not us. So it's going to be the sheriff's office. It's going to be the police. I can give you the summary as I know it. So we fielded any number of calls starting on the 4th all the way up until now.
right.
I'll give you an example of a call that I received from someone in Florida who said, I have a relative who was last seen in Burnett. Gave me all their information, and that was 4 days prior to the event. That was a person who was listed as someone who is missing. And many, many, many calls like that. And so through thousands of people working to kind of vet every one of these, they have determined that those people were not here, have been found safe, do not exist in some cases, and reduce that number down to those three.
Thank you. I just needed a little bit of an explanation myself, so.
Chief,
thank
does
you.
that suffice as an answer there?
Yes, sir. It's actually the Texas Department of Public Safety is tracking on all the missing and
Yeah, DPS, sorry. Yeah.
Jeff, anything?
No, sir.
Good? Brenda?
Good.
All right, well, we can go on to Ms. Barrett.
Good afternoon. So as Michael said, we each have our own role within this event. And so Finance's responsibility is to track all the expenses related to this and make sure our procurement processes are in place to set us up for the best possible reimbursement for eligible expenses as we go on. So thought we'd just talk a little bit about what that process looks like tonight and answer any questions that you might have. Keep in mind, it's very preliminary at this point, but we have gathered detailed data every day. So we've set up a special project within our accounting software to be able to track expenses directly related to this project. So keeping those separate from other operational expenses. Departments are submitting super detailed information to us every day of activity logs, of time spent, machinery and equipment used, hours that we're using on all those things, supplies that we have to buy. And then of course, Michael and Stuart and those guys are out there tracking repairs and maintenance and things that are going to need to be done. We're working with Texas Department of Emergency Management, or TDEM, very closely. So providing them information every day as it comes into us from departments so that we can kind of, at a high level, track daily costs of what's going on out there. And then they're helping us also with FEMA grant requirements and kind of holding our hand through that process so we make sure we're meeting those requirements ahead of time and that we're positioned to take on that grant when the time comes. Risk management and department directors, we're working with TML, our insurance company, to do damage assessments, as Michael said, filing those claims, and then that is going to be ongoing for some time. So I don't think anybody's really ready to speak to what that looks like yet, but just wanted you to know that is happening. So we did some estimated expenses yesterday. Keep in mind, this is very high level. This is just high level information that comes into us every day. How many employees worked on the event each day, how many hours have been dedicated to that, and about expenses that we've incurred right now. So as of yesterday, almost 15,000 hours, that's regular and overtime hours that have been dedicated to response to this event. About $620,000 in salary costs, and keep in mind, that's just salaries. There's no benefits or anything attached to that. So when we go to look at reimbursement, we'll of course do some expense there. About 8,000 hours of equipment or vehicle use has been expended to this. And again, repairs and supplies has not been yet determined, but we are tracking expenditures as they come in and dealing with some larger procurement things. I did want to kind of mimic what Michael said and give a shout out to TDEM. They've been super supportive of us. They've provided us inspectors, medical team, finance support through this event and helping us kind of guide what next steps are. They've given us planning personnel, a lot of different supplies, some of them larger than others, and of course the debris management that they're doing. So definitely want to give credit to them and their experience and their expertise in what they've offered to the community. So this is just kind of a snapshot so that you can see what happens, what's the channel here. So obviously City of Kerrville at the top. Texas Department of Emergency Management is the go-between between us and FEMA, basically, and they have two buckets. So as Michael said, they have the emergency response things, so the things that they're paying for out of their budget. So that's what he mentioned, the STAR request. So if we have a request for something, we put it into them, and if it's approved, then it stops there, and the city's not responsible for it at that point. And there's been some pretty big dollars expended by TDEM. And then the recovery, which is really more where our team comes in, and that is tracking the expenses that we're incurring every day and reconciling those, and then working with TML to determine what is the actual claim, what's the reimbursement going to be, and then kind of the delta between what the cost is going to be of repair replacement. And so those are the expenses that we'll then have to work through, compile, and then get ready for the FEMA grant, which will be down the road. So next steps, we'll continue to track those expenses every day. Our department directors are doing a great job. Every department has assigned a point of contact, and so they're compiling them as a team and sending them to us in detail every day, and we're determining what is eligible, what is not, and then working through a reconciliation process on that. Again, we'll determine the variances between insurance reimbursement and actual costs, and then start working on getting things ready to prepare for FEMA. So it's going to be a long process. We don't expect to see anything for probably 18 months or longer. We went through this before in two separate incidents, once with COVID and then once with winter storm, and it is a very long process, very tedious process to get to that reimbursement process, but we're committed to it and think we have the process in place to be successful when the time comes.
Yeah, I have several questions.
Please.
Can I start?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, Michael, thank you for everything that you've done up to this point, and also Julie, for the tracking that you've been doing. I'm concerned about the accuracy of those numbers. I know that on the kertogether.org or that website, there was a QR code, and Delane and I were manning the entry at the EOC for 3 days, and that QR code that was supposed to signify you checking in and checking out.
Yeah.
It was supposed to compile your hours daily, and that didn't even show up until like the third day.
Yeah.
And so all the hours that were spent by all those volunteers prior to that third day, none of them were checking in and checking out. So I feel as though the numbers are way more than what is indicated on here. And how do we know? Because I had heard that when you check in, all that information goes to TDM or wherever, and it kind of gives them an assessment of exactly how many man-hours were spent on this event, and then they attribute some sort of cost to that, and I think the cost amount was $33 an hour or something, and then that's what tells them what the value is that we need to be reimbursed.
Yeah, so two different things, really. So the burn rate that you're seeing every day, those are estimations. So departments are actually providing that. So I think two different answers to your question. Departments are providing that to us on a daily. So like Chief Haley will send us and say we had 20 officers working and they worked this many hours and these were the units they drove. And so we're providing that to a high level to TDM, not down to the reconciled version.
Okay.
We're also collecting detailed information. So we have timesheets, we have the project that we're using, all of those things that are being compiled in detail on the backside. So your situation rep that you see every day is really estimated because they're asking us for that every day. There's no possible way we can give you fully detailed information every day. We're just trying to get a roundabout idea based on a burn rate or an average cost per hour across the entire organization that's applied to that to say, today we spent about X. So that's estimated. When we get down to really starting to work on our FEMA grant, what we're collecting in our department is much higher, a lot more detailed than that. I mean, it's down to the timesheet, which will be reconciled all the way back to the bank statement. So the volunteer side is going to be a little trickier. So there's two things to know. Only volunteers for the city of Kerrville will be counted towards our match, and we can have a larger FEMA conversation later.
Okay.
We've been doing a pretty good job of tracking that of late. Those first 2 days, people
Right.
came out in droves, and so there's going to be some gap. Those aren't hard costs, so if there's a beauty to it, there's not hard costs. So we're going to capture what we can from a
Okay.
volunteer, and I think once we put a situation and a system in place, we're doing a lot better now of tracking those. But if they were volunteering at Salvation Army, then that's Salvation Army hours, and so
Yeah.
really kind of differentiating those is going to be a little bit tricky. But I think the city right now has a really good process, and so I feel better about it. Than on the 4th and 5th, everyone was just trying to respond to the needs of the community, and that wasn't
Right.
top of mind. Expenses and actual hard costs are.
Yeah,
And
I
so
just
we're
want to be
comfortable with
sure
that.
we capture
We are.
everything we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky, but we're going to get as much as we possibly can
Okay.
as far as tracking on those soft costs.
Righty. Thank you.
You have anything, Kent?
No.
Jeff? Elaine?
No, but I remember the first time I met you, Ken, is that right? Okay, was at the landing when we had that meeting, and I think it was a week and a half after the 4th. That's when I finally realized what the QR code's purpose was. So I do think, I know what Brenda's saying, we were just so inundated those first couple of days. We just saw that and thought, oh, it's a head count for dinner or something. So
Right.
anyway, there's probably going to be more than we know
Right.
came. I don't know where they went though. They may have gone to Salvation Army or somewhere else.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can on those
Right.
kind of things for those first few days. There'll be
Great
some
idea,
gaps, but
because
we're
everyone
going
has
to
a
do the best
phone.
we can.
Volunteers? Do you get reimbursed for volunteers? So these are include, well, I'm just asking Brenda, that includes volunteers, so
Right.
we're not getting reimbursed for volunteers.
No, but it
So
gives,
no, but it counts towards our portion
Mhm.
of what we're required to match if the grant. So if FEMA said they're going to pay 75% of eligible expenses and we're responsible for 25, any in-kind donations that we were to receive will count against our 25%. So FEMA has calculations that they use for X man hours is this much per hour, and that's how they base their eligibility. So equipment has a rate and vehicles have a rate, and so it's very detailed and very kind of complicated, but basically it counts towards our total responsibility of the expense. So it helps us, the volunteer hours will help.
So the CERT team was managing the traffic.
Right.
I don't know if any of us signed in or out, so there's somebody who would have all those hours.
Right, someone at EOC is tracking most of that, and they're reporting that in, and, once we get through next week and budget, we're gonna start hitting that stuff really hard, so we're gonna be digging in a lot more to that. Right now, we're really focused on tracking hard costs, because we need to know what our out-of-pocket is, and then what is actually eligible for reimbursement. That's our number one priority.
And if I'm not mistaken, can you still go in and register and put the hours? Because I didn't know to do that the first couple of days, and then at the end of the week, I went in and put 38 hours. I mean, I added it up.
Kelly can probably answer that better than I can, because she's been working a lot more with volunteers than I have, but we can.
I was just thinking, Kent, if you didn't,
Yeah, or we can you know,
you,
it doesn't have
Steve.
to come from there. You know, we may be backtracking and having conversations about this. We will be having a lot more conversations about this as time goes on.
Okay. Great.
I can speak to tracking at the EOC is going to be probably one of the easier ones. It's the volunteers outside
Mhm.
and external in those spaces. That's going to be the one where we're going to do everything we can to capture it. But a lot of it's not gone through that registration process.
Mhm.
No, sir, I don't. Thank you.
I want to say a brief word about TDM. They've been a pleasure to work with, very professional, very kind, everyone from Chief Kid to everyone wearing the same shirts. Very, very,
A lot of those shirts.
thank you for coming when we
Mhm.
called.
Yes.
We needed help, and you guided us, you kept us on the furrow instead of plowing off to the left or the right. So thank you very, very kindly.
The whole state of Texas really was, I mean, all the
Amen.
Yeah.
departments were really fabulous, and the amount of people that showed up and, dug in from DPS and, game wardens and on and on. It's just, it was really amazing.
Amen. And we called for help and the world answered. Yes. All right, anything else on 2B? B or not 2B? Let's move to 2C, Community Recovery Update. Start with Ms. Hagemeyer.
Hello. There we go. Good afternoon, Council. First, I would like to thank you and the city managers for the latitude given allowing our community the opportunity to stand up a community recovery resource team so quickly. We have a healthy amount of organizations presenting to you today, giving a very high overview of resources available to individuals and businesses and how the community can engage for assistance. So first, we will start with the American Red Cross.
As you present, please state your name and if you care to your address for the record.
All right, I am Melody Gajewski. I actually live in Jonestown, Texas. I'm deployed here and have been here for about 3 weeks. And my address is 17304 North Lake Hills Drive in Jonestown, Texas, 78645. And this feels a little comfortable because I'm the commissioner of our Planning and Zoning Commission, so I'm accustomed to this process. So I want to thank you first for allowing us to come and share what we're doing in support of this activity. It's very tragic, and I want to commend you for the leadership that you've provided to your community. I don't know how I advance these. Great. All right. So we are usually very quick to arrive on these types of events, and we focus initially on mass care, which is typically involves sheltering people who have been displaced. We had 2 shelters here initially, and I'm happy to say that the people who did evacuate to us and were housed by us over a period of just over 2 weeks have now returned to an ongoing location, and they no longer needed our assistance. We feed them, we counsel them, we take care of their medical challenges, and make sure that we then do casework with them and help them to transition into another location. So we still do have a shelter at the Notre Dame Catholic Church that is in what we refer to as standby. So all of our equipment is there. We have staff that can be there to open up within an hour or two. And we're just keeping it there in that status until it's clear that there isn't anyone else who presents that doesn't have a roof over their head, a safe place to harbor. We have provided emergency meals and snacks to not only the residents, but volunteers and first responders. We've provided a lot of materials to fire departments and other locations, churches, who have been housing the volunteers that arrived, because we are in a position to house residents and our own volunteers, but not the general public. So we made sure they had provisions if that was needed. We have provided some emergency supplies and actually documented working with over 600 of your households here just in Kerr County alone. And as everyone is aware here, you have, I think you have been blessed with a lot of materials, and with that comes a need to then distribute it. One of the ways we're trying to help in that regard is we have partnered with Goodwill, and we have helped them to acquire a warehouse and a storefront. So their storefront is now open. We have our volunteers working in concert with them, and everything that is in that storefront is free to this community. All they have to do is come in. So it looks a little bit like a clothing store primarily, but there are other goods in there as well. And that's going to evolve it's only been open a couple of days. So I think we're going to see that evolve into being a very helpful way of getting things out to the community. We provide financial assistance to people who have damage to their homes. We partner in this instance with TDM, and they have done a significant amount of damage assessment, and we have a sharing agreement with them. And then anyone who contacts us who has not been done either by our staff or by the Texas Department of Emergency Management, we will then conduct an in-person visit to that location. And we capture pictures and the status of the damage, and then we go ahead and contact, if we have contact details, we will then be able to reach out to the family and provide financial assistance, counseling, and access to other agencies, which is why the collaboration that we see here is so important. Because every one of us, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, city, county, state, we all have something to offer, but it takes a village, if you will, to make that happen. So we have started that process. We also are in the Family Assistance Center, and in particular are dealing with the mass casualty event. We are again partnered with TDM and a number of other agencies. I'm happy to say we have actually had contact, little over 50% of the families that have experienced a fatality have been in contact with us, and they have received assistance. We are then provide counseling. We provide travel assistance. So when families need to come to this location and stay, we're in a position to help them with that type of help, along with medical replacement of durable equipment and prescriptions and things of that nature. We are personally located over at the, I believe it's B.T. Wilson 6th grade school. And we are also, we have our own intake and casework people that are residing currently at the First Presbyterian Church. And we are also then at the FEMA DRC, which here says TV Street, but is currently at 625 Washington, and is at some point, I believe, planned to be co-located over at the school. It has really been a privilege for us. Another thing I wanted to share with you is we have received over 300 calls to our main 100 Red Cross for reunification. And we have been able to close every one of those. So someone has called us and said, my family member was in the area, or I can't find them, and we have been able to close the loop with them on those individuals. And we do that in concert with all of you here locally. So if there is damage to someone's home, or if they've experienced other types of trauma in their family, what we can only do is ask that they call us at 1-800-RED CROSS. We are integrated into your community and at the state, at the federal, and at the city and county level, along with faith-based organizations. And what we learn, we obviously share with others. And we are doing the same QR code distributions with flyers and with business cards, just trying, anybody can register with us, and with the sharing that we're doing, we're able to make sure that if we can help them, one of your organizations can. So I'll just leave that and see if there's any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you for your service to our community.
Yeah, on behalf of the city, thank you very, very much for your help. Kelly, who's next?
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Cepeda. I am here to speak on behalf of the United Way of San Antonio's 211 helpline. You need my address, right? 8838 Dugas in San Antonio, Texas, 78251. For those here that don't know, the 211 helpline is a statewide information referral helpline for health and social services. We are also respond in disasters. Our main job and our main care is to make sure that we have the information, the current up-to-date information of what all of these wonderful organizations are doing on the ground, so that when someone calls us in need of resources, for disaster-related resources, we are able to give them the most up-to-date information. We are a 24/7 helpline. Right now, we have specialists or information referral specialists at the Family Assistance Center on Tivy to make sure that if families come in, we are able to face-to-face connect them to any additional resources that they may need. Kerr County is part of our coverage areas. United Way of San Antonio's 211 helpline covers Bexar County and the surrounding 11 counties, Kerr being one of them. So this was very important for us to ensure that we are present and to take care of the community that we serve. As I mentioned, we do resource navigation on the phone and in person. We make sure to disperse critical data to individuals that need it, our stakeholders, city council, whoever needs our information, we are happy to share. Number of calls, what are they calling for, what are we still needing? This helps us stay with the pulse of the community because we are talking directly to the community, right? So we make sure to gather that information. We also have crisis intervention to make sure that we connect individuals with mental health resources, and we're also doing that on the ground here in Kerrville, face to face. And then one of our biggest things that we do is we do respond in disaster. So we want to make sure that the community as a whole are getting the information that they need, up-to-date, current information, so that they're able to access and receive the services that are available to them on the ground. Additionally, the United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County has started a fund, United with Kerr Fund. So far, we have raised $1.4 million that will be distributed directly to local partners here in Kerrville to ensure for that long-term recovery. These will help cover basic needs, food instability, housing, whatever it is that we get from our information at 211 that this community still needs in that long term. We're going to be able to partner with local organizations, the city, the county, whoever we need to partner with in order to make sure that individuals here in this community get the help that they need.
So much.
Sure.
Any questions or
questions?
comments?
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
so very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Todd Bach, 155 Leaning Tree Lane, Kerrville, Texas. I want to thank you for your leadership during this time of gathering of our community, and want to thank you, Mayor, for the request for prayer as well, too. That's what's going to make us stronger and better and get us through this. Where I'm here today on behalf of Curry EDC, but I want to let each and every one of you know there was not one single organization that was successful and that will show our efforts and everything that was put together. Many others besides those badges that are on this came together at the time of need and helped us through this first stage, which is what we call our short game, and then we are going to talk about long-term recovery as well. So we started very early on, launched and branded the Kerrville Together. We spearheaded, Kelly Hagemeyer, myself, and Mindy sat around a table and decided and understood the magnitude of the situation and determined at that time we needed to create a team, a task force to help us through our processes and what was our next steps, and called on former Mayor Judy Eichner, Greg Appel, who is here, put together a team that coordinated and helped us as we were coming up with programs to put and launch for the impact of our local businesses, and coordinated a cross-agency coalition. We then engaged the leadership from the City of Kerrville, Kirk County, KPUB, the Chamber, the CVB, and all the local nonprofits to come together and determine what was the best course of action immediately for our local business community within Kerrville and within Kirk County. One of the things was to deploy a business intake form, which was a sheet put together to go out and find out the immediate needs. Judy Eichner gathered a room full of realtors, gave them their marching orders, and went out immediately with one task, is to go out and hold their hand and give them a hug. And I must tell you, the feedback that I received from the business community and from the realtors and the response of the business community was overwhelming. The form was filled out in real time. We were watching it grow. And from that point, we started using, again, Kerr Together as a way to collect all this information and data. Judy mobilized these ground teams, literally going door to door, gathering the information. At that time, we knew then we would need to collaborate with the Chamber Foundation and try to establish a formal grant review and disbursement process to get money out to these businesses as soon as possible. We were using data that we received from other EDCs in areas about a time frame, which was most critical in order to get that money out. And if it weren't for working with our local banks, head up by Greg Appel, what we're now calling our local banking family, our foundations, the state partners, the Office of the Governor, we were in contact with, and trying to determine ways to get immediately relief to the businesses. When we were working at this time, we were introduced to TETM, the office, went through the Office of the Governor, their Economic Development Tourism Department, and the SBA representatives that were gathered up through Greg and the local banking family. Put together quite a few meetings extremely fast, wherever to go through and gather up what the best ways to go about in dispersing these funds. And thanks to a lot of gracious donors, and especially the Community Foundation, we were able to get that out extremely rapid. Also through the Curry EDC and our task force, drafting press releases, talking points, and messagings to promote the awareness and encourage additional donations for our community. Also would like to say that who's not here this evening is Teresa Metcalf. She is a former Curry EDC employer and has been on retainer with Curry EDC as a contractor, flew in from Colorado, and her and my daughter, Ashley Bach, were just phenomenal in helping orchestrate on such a short staff and get so much done working round the clock. Especially want to give Kelly Hagemeyer the recognition coming on as the Economic Development Manager for the City of Kerrville. Couldn't have done it without her. She temporarily moved her office into the Chamber, and there we were, collaborative working with Mindy and the Chamber, much more effective that way, and got a lot more done, especially with the hours that we were operating under. And Mayor and Council, one thing I want to leave you with that is of the utmost importance is the definition of long-term recovery. For those that were affected, long-term recovery began on the 5th. And I want the community to know that we are in the process of framing that up. And I also want the community to know that it will be run and organized by its community leadership. We will be in control as a community of what our long-term recovery looks like. I want to thank Tatum so much for their skill sets that they provide us. They are literally walking us through this program. They do not own this program, nor are they trying to run this program. They are here. They are the professionals. They are the ones that are giving us and guiding us through best practices. This is what they do, and we are taking their advice. But I also want the community to know that long-term recovery doesn't mean we're going to wait a long term to start it. We have already started on that process, and be assured we will have a program to release to the community here very soon.
Questions or comments for Todd?
Thank you for all your long hours that you put
Thank
into
you,
this.
Todd.
You're doing a great job.
My pleasure.
All of you.
And Todd is a former mayor of the city of Kerrville. Next.
SBA.
Mr. Mayor, council members, to everybody else present, good evening. My name is Gabriel Perales. I'm a public information officer with Small Business Administration's Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. And I'm here today to share that during a time of disaster, not only does SBA help businesses, but we help homeowners, renters, nonprofits, and again, businesses of all sizes. And during a time of disaster, speaking to what Todd just said, we come in and we hope to offer long-term solutions. With SBA, what we're offering is homeowners and renters both the opportunity to apply for loans at a very low interest rate to help get them back on track. So homeowners and renters can qualify for up to $100,000 for personal loss, which includes clothes, furniture, and also including vehicles. Aside from $100,000 for personal loss, homeowners can also qualify for up to $500,000, and that's to either repair or replace physical damage to their home. Now, from the business community, businesses that have suffered physical damage can also apply and qualify for up to $2 million. And that is going to be over the course of up to 30 years with the low interest rate as low as 4% and no payments and no interest for the first year. We also have what's called economic injury disaster loans. So any business that may have suffered any economic injury can also qualify for up to $2 million, again, over the course of up to 30 years with an interest rate as low as 4%, and again, no payments and no interest for the first year. Now, coming back to the homeowners and renters, their rates are as low as 2.81% up to a 30-year term as well, again, with no payments and no interest for the first year. So while we certainly understand the pain that the residents are feeling, and right now might not be the time or the first thing that people are thinking about is getting into a disaster loan, what we always say is we want to be a part of the solution and offer to anybody that comes to our SBA table to take advantage of all resources, because you don't have to apply for just SBA. You don't have to apply for just FEMA. You can apply for every resource available and hopefully get the help that you need to try to make you as whole as possible the way you were prior to the flooding date of July 4th. With that being said, my goal and my purpose here today is really to reach out, as Todd just mentioned, and continue to promote awareness and let our partners or the partnerships that we hope to establish help carry this information along, and you all becoming our partners, and more importantly, you all becoming the resource for the people that you can reach. Because as much as I'd love to tell you that I'll be able to reach everybody myself, well, these arms are long, they're not that long. So, my goal is to walk out of here, hopefully be able to connect with many of you so that we can continue to share this information with those that really need it, and let them know that if and when they are ready to possibly look into a disaster loan, SBA is here to assist them. So thank you.
Thank you
Any
very
questions?
much.
Yes, would you give us your name again and a way to contact you?
Yes, I'm sorry, I apologize. So my name is Gabriel Perales, PIO officer, and I'd give you my address, but I go from disaster to disaster, so it's
Well-
whatever hotel I'm at.
Email or
So,
phone number or?
but you can reach us, or actually, you can actually, let me give you the website. I didn't do that, so I apologize. People can apply either online at sba.gov/disaster, or by calling our 800 number at 800-659-2955. Or we are also currently housed again at 625 Washington, the First Baptist Church, which is a disaster recovery center. And we also have a business recovery center right across the street on North Street. So if any business would like to maybe not go to the DRC and go straight to the BRC, they have that ability as well. But I can also be reached at area code 916-866-2903. And absolutely, I'm happy to help anybody who's interested in. Hopefully, we can continue to pass this information along. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really?
Lift fund is next.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and ladies and gentlemen of the council. Lift Fund has been around, for those of you who don't know as yet, we've been around for 32 years, based out of San Antonio, headquartered in San Antonio. Our mission in normal times is to help small businesses obtain capital that cannot obtain capital through the normal channels such as a traditional bank. I'm going to skip our mission and vision statement. But in our history of 30 plus years, we have made an economic impact across our footprint of $6 billion. Over 28,000 loans made, and have helped create 104,000 jobs. So what are we doing to help here with this unfortunate event? We launched our disaster programs in Kerrville on July the 8th. Now, I need to point out that Lift Fund does not have its own funding to do these things. So for us, we have to raise funds to be able to respond to these type of situations. So between the 4th and the 8th, we were on the phone talking to partners, looking for funding so we could respond to this event. By the 11th, we had our online applications open and running for both grants to small businesses and for 0% interest loans. So as of July the 21st, which I'm going to update this today, as of yesterday, we had $2.8 million in emergency grants and $410,000 for interest-free loans. Well, yesterday, the Community Foundation awarded us another $1.5 million, and late yesterday, Methodist Ministries awarded us another $500,000 to use towards grants in the affected areas. We're anticipating that with the demand that we've had to date, that we will need between $3 and $5 million total to be able to assist effectively all those requests that we are seeing come in. So what have we seen to date? As of this afternoon, about an hour and a half ago, we had 148 applications for the $10,000 grant. Most of these grants are due to physical damage and loss of property to these small businesses. The grants are awarded up to $10,000. And we're not just giving a flat $10,000 to every applicant. We assess their needs, and if it's property loss, and if it's a business that has had their revenues impacted, we'll assess 3 months worth of their working capital needs historic, and we'll determine how much they could use based on what their historic use of that money has been. So it's up to $10,000. Most of them are getting up to the $10,000. One of the things I want to address here is we are also offering a 0% loan. So the funding that has come in from the Community Foundation, Wells Fargo, Methodist Ministries, HEB, Chase Bank, Citibank, trying to remember which other one. All of this money, about 95% of this money is going directly to grants, not to fund any loans, directly to grants. The other portion that is left over is what we use to buy down the interest rate. So for example, some of our funders will say, here's $100,000 to buy down the interest rate on the loan. So we are lending our money, our capital, and our funders, our partners are paying your interest for you to pay the 0% interest. There was a misconception that we were using the money that we're being granted to make the loans with, and when the loans were repaid, we would use those funds for other projects. That is not the case. We are funding the loans with our capital, and the money that has been given to us in grants is buying the interest rate down to 0%. So as of today, 147 grant applications, about 25 loan applications. I spoke about the details of the grant. We are set up here in Kerrville at the Happy State Bank location on Junction Highway. Thank you, Happy State Bank, Greg, for allowing us a space to operate out of so we can meet people in person. But the most efficient way to access our grant application is go to our website, which is www.liftfund.com. There is a banner that says Hill Country Disaster Relief on the homepage. Click on that banner, it'll take you straight to the grant application and the loan application. The loans are up to $50,000, and they're up to 54 months in term with a 0% interest rate. We do add a 5% commitment fee into the loan amount. Liftfund being a not-for-profit 501c3 organization, that 5% commitment fee that we add into the loan helps cover our overhead. And we need to keep our doors open so we can continue to operate and continue to help and respond in the future to small businesses across our footprint. Do I have any questions at this point? And I'm sorry, I did not introduce myself. My name's Adrian G. Gonzalez, the Chief CDC Officer for Liftfund. I live at 4870 Laurie Michelle Road, San Antonio, Texas.
Thank you for introducing yourself. Thank you for all you're doing. I've heard good comments from your work, so I really, really appreciate it. Any comments from council?
Thank you very much.
We need to make sure that we also thank Greg,
Of course.
former EIC chair, but he's been instrumental in getting this information out. All the bankers are involved in it here locally, Greg, so thank you for your leadership in that as well.
Amen. Thank you, Craig.
Just a comment on behalf of the banking community, we stand ready to support the local businesses as well. We understand we have a role to play, and so we are ready, willing, and able to do so.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez, thank you. Who's next? I know her. I've met her before.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. My name is Mindy Windley, and my new home is 1700 Sidney Baker Street, Kerrville, Texas. I wish I was kind of joking, but happy to be there and happy to have a roof over our heads. For tonight's presentation, I'd like to give you a brief history of the Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce Foundation, because it is a brief organization. Our mission statement was just evolved. I will say that on July the 1st, the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors seated the last board member for the foundation board on July the 1st. And we know what happened on July the 4th. On July the 5th, we established the Kerrville Area Rebuilding and Recovery Fund Phase 1. Within 4 days, we were processing grant applications and dispersing money on July the 10th. Since this has been submitted, we have had some changes. I will tell you, unfortunately, there's fraud, and we are being very protective of our donors' money and our applications for our business community. So how to apply, you have to come in and talk to us. No longer can we accept applications via email. Who can apply? any business in our area, the Kerrville area, and we must submit just basic information, driver's license, EIN, articles of incorporation, that kind of thing. Our phase one is going right now. It is now open, as it says, and we have rolling approvals and disbursements as funds are available. We have extremely quick turnaround. We have hired an extra person to come be with the chamber staff to do nothing but assist us in flood recovery. Our turnaround is 36 to 48 hours from intake to check presentation. As of yesterday, we have received $1,047,899 in funds. We have processed 93 applications and have distributed $755 to our small community. In the short, 19 hours, we have received another 45 applications that are in the in-basket right now. As people come in to pick up their check, because they do have to come personally and pick their check up, we make sure that they have all the information for the SBA, for the LIFT fund, for the bankers. We don't need to get personal, and we don't get personal, but we want to make sure that they are covered with whatever area they need. We have fielded, as all of you have, we have fielded hundreds of calls helping people from donations, where you take them, what do you do, what do we want to volunteer. We have small operations. We have single folks to stars that have called and wanted to help us. And I'm very proud of our team for handling each and every call with grace and compassion. And sometimes we just have to sit and let them cry. We have the QR code is up and running. We've had it for the last 18 days. Anyone and everyone that would like to support us for the small business persons in the Kerrville area, it is not bound by county line. That is our QR code. I will tell you that with our wonderful partnership of the funds that I've just talked about, our wonderful partnership with the Community Foundation is making it available to help so many, and our online and check receipts to complement their generous donation have really helped. The foundation board meets twice a week to provide guidance to the staff. They are also working on phase 2 for the guidelines. This will be a little more strict, if I may use that word, because it will be more money. They help staff immensely, and they're all volunteers, and every one of them. And so we're very appreciative to them for their dedication to the small business community of the Texas Hill Country. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Comments or questions? Thank you.
Thank you so
Go home.
The real home. The other home, yeah.
Tatum is next.
Good afternoon, Mayor and the Council. Courtney Goss. I am the State Voluntary Agency Liaison with TDM, the Texas Division of Emergency Management. Address is 313 East Anderson Drive, Austin, Texas, 78752. So first off, it has been an absolute honor to be able to serve within your community. It's truly an amazing community, being able to see the local individuals within the members of your community come together alongside state, federal, nonprofit, private sector. It truly has been a whole community approach. And I want to thank you, Todd, for your comments earlier. As we've started really having these conversations, I just want to reiterate that it's going to be a whole community approach for long-term recovery. It can't be a single agency, a single individual. It truly takes a whole community being able to bring together all sectors,
for your community as Kerr together. So what does that look like? Really looking at community recovery. Community recovery is being able to understand the unmet needs within your community. We want to make sure that we're empowering your community and equipping them with the skills, the assistance to be able to have a true path for recovery. Being able to develop a recovery plan, whether it's for local business or a local individual and household. There's a lot that goes into it, and it really is long-term. So it's been, again, an honor to be able to start working with the community members, these agencies, organizations. We will commit to continue to advocate for voluntary organizations to come in and support your community. Part of our role is to be able to, and it's, again, an honor, to work with these amazing voluntary organizations that work both here within your communities before disaster and those that come in after disaster. Those organizations that many might have not known ever existed that will continue to be here and have a role within your community. Long-term recovery is going to require money, manpower, and materials. Say it again. Call it the 3 M's: money, manpower, materials. Really being able to assess what is the unmet need. We want to be very strategic in identifying those within the community that have these unmet needs. We talk about developing that recovery plan, making sure that we are doing our due diligence and setting them up for success. We don't want to enable, it's part of the healing process. We don't want to enable them. We want to really make sure that they're utilizing their resources, that they're walking through this path to recovery. I say this, and that I do want to mention that it was stated earlier about how so many have come through this and have gone through this process before. I was a resident of Wimberley and saw my community go through this. You one day will look at the banks of the rivers and you will see hope again. It is possible. There can truly be beauty in the disaster, but it's going to take long term, and it's going to take everybody coming together. You have been abundantly blessed with a lot of donations that we might not need, a lot of clothing, but you also have been blessed with a lot of dollars and attention. And so I ask again for y'all to continue to work together as a community across all sectors, coming together, playing a piece, being a very important piece of the puzzle, and knowing that, again, it's going to truly be long-term.
Any questions or comments?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Goss.
And then, last but not least, Austin Dixon.
My technology right. Hello, I'm Austin Dixon. I'm the CEO of the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country, and I'm a Kerrville resident. I live at 1661 Saddlewood Boulevard, 78028. Thank you for having me, Mayor and Council, and thank you, Kelly, for the invitation. The Community Foundation is our regional charitable endowment. We make grants to nonprofit organizations, and we award scholarships to students going to college and technical school. When there are emergencies, the Community Foundation, like community foundations across the country, open up disaster funds and support the community in times of crisis. We did this for Uvalde in 2022. We raised money for the community as well as for victims. We delivered $23 million to 447 households in the wake of that tragedy. And we still have the Uvalde Forever Fund at the Community Foundation with an advisory committee of Uvalde residents. And we've redone multiple parks and playscapes. We've supported long-term mental health. We helped build the Children's Bereavement Center in Uvalde with 10 years of operating expenses. We've done a lot of good work there. In March, we set up the Crabapple Fire Relief Fund for Fredericksburg, and we've supported that community in their time of need. And on the morning of July 4th at 9:46 in the morning, we opened the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund to accept donations for what we did not know was coming our way. We are a local trusted source for philanthropic management of resources and donations. We announced today to the media that we've raised at least $60 million in donations And the key word there is at least. That is a conservative estimate of what we have done in 18 days. So far, this number is rounded up a little bit. I had help with my slides. It should be 8 million that we have granted to nonprofits in the past few days to vetted organizations, and I'll share with you a little bit about who those groups are. But our strategy has been that the Community Foundation's dollars are going to be early dollars and long-term dollars. And so in the first week of the flood event, we granted $5 million to organizations in our community, and we issued more grants today that we announced. But as one of my advisors has said, we need to slow down to speed up. And so now that some of the help has arrived from some of the resources that we have funded and also that we have befriended, such as TDM and also the SBA, some of those medium-term supports are going to be here for us. And the Community Foundation is going to take a more long-term approach going forward. I wanted to share with you just a list of some of our grantees. We've made this publicly available on our website in our 4 categories. I'm proud of all of our grants. They are almost exclusively to nonprofit organizations that the Community Foundation has had long-standing grantee partnerships with. We know their staff, we know their board, we know their board chair, we know the old board chair, we know the old board drama. We know all sorts of stuff about these organizations, and we're proud of those relationships. And I think that's what makes the Community Foundation so unique in this moment. Underneath our category of financial assistance for individuals, we've been making grants to the Centerpoint Alliance for Progress, which there's just a group that raises money to hand out Christmas gifts at Christmas time to local kids. And they've converted themselves with the help of People's State Bank there in Centerpoint to give emergency cash assistance to people. All these other grants are to give folks a little emergency assistance. This is not home repair money. This is not home replacement money. This is, do you need money for a fan to dry your carpet? Do you need a broom? Do you need groceries? Do you need a tank of gas? Do you need a gas card? Do you need a bill paid? And all of these organizations have stepped up and are meeting people with direct needs. In philanthropy, we call this trust-based philanthropy, where we give generously, we give quickly, we give large amounts with people that we know and trust can deliver for us, and that's what we've done. Similarly, we've made grants to the business community. You've already heard about Lift Fund and the Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce. We've also made grants in Comfort and West Kerr County. We know these groups, we trust these groups, we know their boards, we work with them all the time, and we know that we can get these dollars to businesses for very short-term help before any kind of loan comes into play, SBA comes into play, or those local banking relationships that are going to sustain them for the monumental task ahead. Some of these businesses just need a little cash support to help with their payroll. When one business owner I talked to, they distributed the money to their employees who cannot work for them anymore, and so it was to get them kind of through their expenses for the month. I'm really proud of these dollar amounts that we've been able to pump into the community. On social media and other places, it's been mentioned that the Community Foundation has given out loans. The Community Foundation cannot, will not, and does not make loans. We make grants. A grant, we don't like to use these kind of terms. The Community Foundation, it's a little crass in our view, but it's free money that no one has to pay back. That's what a grant is, and that's what the Community Foundation does, is we make financial investments in organizations with no expectation of paying back. We've never been paid back for any kind of grant ever. And then we also focus on first responders. We have relationships with every volunteer fire department in 10 counties, and we have a especially close relationship with ones in our county. We know that they have limited funds that they get from the county, and they have fish fries to support the rest. And during this disaster, we decided to be very generous, or our board did, with some serious grants for supplies they need and other things. We also funded Mercy Chefs. If you've been over to City West Church, you know what kind of operation that is. It's magnificent. And we also supported Shriner University, which, while is getting some support from FEMA, has a lot of out-of-pocket costs as it converts its university campus into a housing facility for first responders. And we're really proud of that partnership and to support. And then the last category is crisis assistance, where we made grants to nonprofits and organizations that converted themselves into shelters and reunification sites. This was our community's way of saying thank you for what you did. We also made grants to animal welfare organizations who also have a part to play in this crisis assistance, as well as MHDD, a counselors association. We also underwrote the cost of having United Way 211 here. We're so grateful for you coming to our aid. World Central Kitchen, and then our most recent grant is the Ingram ISD. Ingram has over $3.5 million worth of damage and is not ready to start school on the first day. And so our Board of Trustees made a visit to the school district, met with them, and talked about insurance issues and other things. And we made a $1.25 million grant in addition to a partnership with HEB to get that security fence up and to get them ready for the first day of school. Our board felt that in all the chaos and confusion right now, that kids and families need school to be open, school to be safe, school to be accessible. And so we made that grant to make sure that Ingram has school up and running in tip-top shape in the next 3 weeks. Every dollar that we have granted is going to nonprofits, giving direct service in the community with our strategy. But we are a long-term institution. And as I said, we've already raised $60 million and counting. We're grateful for another Kerrville resident, Robert O'Keen, who's doing a concert for us later in August. We are also grateful for fellow Texans like Miranda Lambert and Kelly Clarkson, who are doing concerts for us in Austin. There's another concert with Lyle Lovett in San Antonio. And there's also lemonade stands all over America. There's proceeds of restaurants in Austin and Dallas. There are people selling purses in the parking lots of malls in Lufkin, Texas, to be specific about it. There's people selling T-shirts in Idaho. There was a man today that wrote us a letter from Sing Sing Prison in Ossing, New York, and he sent us 4 polo shirts that he said he wears only when he has visitors to his prison. And he thought maybe someone here might need a clean shirt to wear if theirs is wet. We have had an outpouring of generosity towards our community, and the Community Foundation is only a conduit for the generosity of Americans. And I said in our press conference on July 11th that this community is not ready for the power of Texas philanthropy, and we are delivering. And we're going to continue to deliver for the long term. As our Tatum colleague said and Todd said so well, this is a long-term process, and we're going to be here for the long term. We are still very much in a fundraising moment, and we're going to continue to be in that fundraising moment, the Community Foundation, so that when all the dust settles and all the resources start to leave, we will have some money that we can rebuild this community back with. I welcome any questions that you have.
Comments or questions?
Well, I think I heard a number, sorry, about how many calls you were getting a day, like a minute, two calls a minute or something the first.
We were getting an online donation every half second for 3 days straight.
Well, thank you for fielding those calls.
Thanks.
And a lot of coffee, I'm sure.
Thanks.
Austin, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your comment. Maybe it'll help educate some people that they don't have to pay a grant back.
No, sir.
It was, even this weekend, I was fielding questions about that. And I just said, look, I'm not going to argue with you. Go to the source, get you educated like I did before I said anything about it, because that's the best way to do it. So thank you. Thank you for making that point tonight. And I hope everybody hears that wants to, that you don't pay a grant back. So thank you.
No, sir. No, you don't.
It's great to have your organization here among us, and it's been here for a while and done a lot of good work, but this is really special for us at this time, so thanks a lot.
Thank you, Councilman.
Austin, as one of the founding members for Kerrville Pets Alone, we thank you very much. We've been directly impacted and have seen at least 350 animals. And we've either sent them to rescue, we've cremated them, we've bedded them, we've had some emergency situations with animals, and we could not have done it without your help. Thank you.
Thanks, Brenda.
Austin, on behalf of the city, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what your board is doing. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone.
What is our last presenter? Any more questions?
Any questions for Kelly?
Well done.
Thank you, Kelly.
I would like to, an overall comment. If people wonder what's going on behind the scenes, what this community is doing to try to rebuild and to help those who've been affected, I hope they'll watch this on YouTube, because work has started. It started July 4th. And I'm so thankful for everyone here. In the words of Mr. Rogers, these are the helpers. Whenever there's a crisis, look for the helpers. These are the helpers. So thank you very much. Thank you for everyone that's here. Thank you. I believe that's the last on 2C. We do have an executive session item that I will need.
I'll make the motion that we go into executive session on item 3A under section 551.071, 551.087. Second.
Those have been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. All right, we're going to go upstairs for executive session. That means the regular city council meeting will be delayed. So when we get done with that, we will turn that down and start the regular city council meeting. Thank you.